We are going to see our first public tech preview of new Zentyal Cloud.
Thank you. Where's my paper? I think people here still don't know me. Joking. No, it was a joke. So, thank you, everyone. This is the last presentation of the day. So, I was going to take my tie off, but I don't wear any tie. So, yeah. But now the idea is that now we can start relaxing and start preparing for the cocktail and thinking about how many beers we'll have there. But give you energies for tomorrow. Tomorrow is a big day for the beers. So, this is the big awaited technical preview of Zentyal Cloud. So, what is Zentyal Cloud? What is the concept we have been developing, we have been working for so many months here? The basic idea is that, well, you know, Zentyal, we have so many network services. So from the firewall, proxy, sharing files, managing users, email, voice over IP, etc., everything together, you know, modular, all that. But some of these services, it doesn't make sense anymore, or at least day after day, it doesn't make so much sense to have them on site. So that's how Gmail has been so successful, Dropbox, and some other solutions. So every day we see more and more traction towards the cloud. So we were thinking, like, are we going to be sticked just on the server? Can we do anything else? So we thought, maybe we can start moving some services to the cloud, those that make sense. So you can start having some IT on the cloud, perfectly synchronized with your server, so it all looks like the same system, although you have the advantages on site, you have the advantages of the cloud. So that's the main idea. And what's the main differentiation between Zentyal Cloud and other cloud products? So the idea is that the cloud and the server, they have a two-way synchronization. So initially, we have focused on users and groups, and then files and folders. So what this means is that, okay, I have my Samba 4, I have my LDAP on the server, then I just register to the cloud, and up they go, all the data, all the users and groups, all the files, they go to the cloud. So the first time I access my cloud, I see all my data there. Then I say, okay, well, this is easy to manage, so I will add my users here in the cloud. So each user I add to the cloud, it is added to the server, which means that now it can be integrated with the proxy, it can be integrated with the Kerberos system. So every new user I add to the cloud, it is added automatically to the whole IT system I have on site. And vice versa, if my IT guy adds a new user on my server, it is added to the cloud. Also, same thing with the groups. If I add a new guy to the new group or existing guy to a new group, then it is automatically synchronized everywhere. Same thing with the files, with the folders, the files I'm sharing on Samba, and et cetera, et cetera. And this starts to be funnier if I have more than one office, because then I just have the cloud, so my server gets synchronized with the cloud, and from there it's synchronized to the rest of the servers. And if I add a new user to the cloud, it is synchronized to all my servers without doing anything else. Same thing with the files. I can have my files on the cloud, and if I add a new one, then it is synchronized with all my servers in all my offices. I don't have to worry about that. So this is the idea. And we have started with users and groups, files and folders, because we have found after a survey that these are the most interesting features, but we have many more on the roadmap. So what is the advantage of this kind of solution? So for the SMBs, for the end customers, it just works. So you don't have to do anything else. It just subscribe your server to the cloud, and it will do all the magic behind it. You don't have to remember that, okay, I have added a new user here, and now I have to add it here, and everything else. The second benefit is that even I can do it. And when I say I, it's I. I mean, a stupid CEO. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I had good marks at school and all that, but in terms of IT, I'm more and more ignorant every day because I don't do anything with that for many years already. So the most complicated thing I use is LibreOffice or the browser. So don't ask me to go back to the command line or to the development. I don't know anything. But even for me, it is really easy to add a new user, add a new group, and manage all that. So from a CEO perspective, well, if you have had this experience, you know how frustrating it is that you need to count on the IT guy for every single modification you need on your IT. There's a new guy. Hey, please, can you do it? No, I'm busy. Oh, no, I'm now going on holidays. Now I'm sick. And you are like, okay, we just hired a guy, and because I didn't plan this with 2 weeks in advance, we don't have this guy in the system because I don't have the permissions, I don't have the passwords, as Willem said. But here the power is back to the CEO, if the CEO wants, of course. But still, he doesn't have to manage the whole server. He doesn't have to be a Zentyal certified associate to manage the server. Then the third benefit is that I have my users everywhere and anywhere. They're completely synchronized. I can ask for them to be synchronized with my ERP, with my CRM, with all my systems. And I just have them once, and they are synchronized with everything else. And then finally, I don't have to worry if the system fails. Of course, if it fails, then I will have to solve them, but it's not that I have the disruption of the work. Example, my internet connection is down. Doesn't matter. I continue working in the office because I have all my users, I have all my files in my server. I can continue working with that, and I know that when the internet connection will be back, all that will be synchronized with the cloud. Same thing, if my server fails, I know that all my data is in the cloud. All my users are in the cloud. I can continue managing there and accessing there, because when I recover from the disaster, it will get back online. And same thing if my cloud provider fails, which will never happen, of course. But I know that I have my data on the server. So no worries. I can sleep on the night, and I know that even if lightning strikes Amazon servers, things will still, my data is still safe. And what is there for the IT service provider, for the MSP? Now you can go on to your customer, you can say, you take care of your business, you manage your users, you manage your groups, I will take care of the rest of the IT. I will take care that you have all your firewall with all the ports correctly configured, you will have all the updates correctly implemented. I will be monitoring your system, will be monitoring your hardware, everything. All that boring stuff, difficult stuff, that you need an IT guy for, but you have the control on your users, on your permissions, on your security. So you give back the power to your customer, and that's something the customer really wants. Then another thing, this thing you shouldn't say to the end customer, but whoever controls the users controls the IT. The idea is that you can provide a product to your customer that you can integrate the users of the whole organization with any application your customer needs. And it's completely synchronized, and it's really easy. But as long as you are the provider of that solution, you can provide all the rest of the solutions that your customer needs. So you become a strategic provider for your customer. Then the third thing is that your customer doesn't have to go to Dropbox or to Gmail because there's no, because they can buy everything just as easily like that from the website. And they are forced to use a different system, completely separated. You can provide that system. You can be the only provider for your customer. Your customer doesn't need to purchase space on Dropbox or Gmail stuff and then trying to manage all that in different systems. And finally, it's the same benefit for the customer, but there are no fires to put out. So you know that if something fails for your customer, he can continue work. They will not lose the data, and you will solve it when you have a moment to solve it. But it's not any urgency more. You know that it's not that every minute your customer doesn't have his data on place, he's losing money. It's not anymore the case. So these are the benefits. And what is the status of the project? So today, now, we start the private beta with users and files. If you want to try, I have here a small application. It's very short, with just a very short questionnaire. Don't worry, there's much text, but it's very easily to fill up. So if you want to be one of the first to join the beta and to give us feedback, you're very welcome. We are working on having email contacts and calendar added to the solution, to the synchronization on the cloud. We're also working on the desktop synchronization, so that files can be also, you have them on the desktop and they are synchronized with the cloud, and you don't worry about them. And we plan to have a commercial launch in December. Initially only through our partners, so they are the ones who can provide the solution to the customers. So, and now it's demo time. I hope it doesn't fail. I hope internet connection works, but forgive me if it doesn't. Yeah. Just a second. So here it is. So, damn. Yeah. So I have a side business. We have a company that is selling chicken on the internet. And of course, as we have, we are also developers of Zentyal. We have a Zentyal server in-house, and we just got this account in Zentyal Cloud. Our company, well, you know, it's very simple. We have only two departments. There's engineering, the ones who make the website and who manage all the selling through the website, and there's the farm, where they grow the chicken that has to be sold. So we're a very small company. I'm the CEO, and I manage sales. So this is what we're going to find. I put my login information, pollos.com, and my password, which I will not share with anyone here. So this is what you see. This is the first time I access the cloud, but the cloud has already taken the information of the users, the information of groups, and the files. So this is my private files that were in Samba. Here, this is the folder finance, where I keep all the accounting and things like that. My private photos, which will not access here, and then customers, where I keep all the data of my customers. Just a open office file, and that's all. And we have three groups: staff, farm, and engineering, and each group has its own folder, so we can have a look at them. So here we have some documentation about Beautiful Chicken, the book, the chicken cookbook, and then some general rules for the whole staff. We can see here that this is shared with all the staff, which is a group. We can add a new user to let this share, but we're not going to do that. Then we can say the farm, which is just the productivity of the farm, which is taken care of there, and the engineering, which we have the design and the web and blah, blah, blah. So let's have a look at the users. Let's see if the server has been synchronized correctly. And yeah, so here I am. I'm the administrator of this website. Don't ask me to administer a Zentyal server, but I can do this. So I belong only to the group staff, because I have permissions everywhere else. I don't need any more permissions. Jos, he's my right hand. He's the manager of engineering team. Then Samuel, in his free time, he is the manager of the farm. He takes care of the chicken. And we have here the Exe Omo, which is a friend of Andrew. And yeah, you cannot see here very well. Well, there should be a picture of the Exe Omo. Yeah, you can see it here. So this is Exe Omo, who is the designer of our website. He belongs to staff and to engineering. Then about the groups, we just have three groups: staff, farm, and engineering. Okay, So last week I received a call from Tom. He's fed up of being at OpenOcean. He doesn't want to be an investor anymore. He asked me for a place as a salesman. And I accepted his candidacy. Well, he asked that we needed some senior managers. So let's add Tom as a new user. So here we go. First name is Tom Henriksson. And okay, here we have him. I'm going to change his avatar so that I can recognize him every time I want to manage him. So here he is. Yeah, this is good. Okay, we have Tom. We're going to add him to staff so that he can access all the general rules and the chicken cookbook. And we're going to make a group of sales so that we can exchange all the information about sales. And we can add, I'm going to be in sales and also Tom. So we just made a new hire, and he has now all the permissions to access whatever he needs. Now I go to my private files, and I'm going to share customers with the sales team, only Tom and myself. Just come here. Sorry, it didn't. Yes, here it is. So now we have customers. Yeah, I'm going to put an avatar for the sales because otherwise it's a bit ugly. Yeah, this is very sales friendly. Yeah, looks good. Okay, so we have a new sales guy, we have a new sales team, and we are sharing the files. I can add a new folder. Yeah. So yesterday Tom called me and he said he made his first sale. But instead of selling chicken, which is what I asked him for, he has sold a project. So there's a company that wants to sell turkey on the internet. So it's a very different business from ours. So we're not going to do that, but we can sell them a development project using our website. So we have accepted the sale. But we want to share all the specifications, all the project information with our customer, and so they can access also here, and we can share the same files. So I'm going to create a new folder for the project. Let's call it Turkey's project. Here we go. And we're going to add a new file. I have here a list of tasks to do for this project. So, sorry, the internet connection is, yeah, here we have it. Now this folder, I'm going to share it. I'm going to share it with engineering. Of course, they need to know this. And also Tom. Not with the sales team, because if we hire another sales guy, I don't want him to mix with Tom's accounts. So only Tom. Tom and all the engineering team, whoever is there. We can change the name of the share, so how the customer are going to see this share, but we're not going to change that. And we're going to add the customer name here. And his email address. So here it is. Now we share it, and we have a new share here. And all these people have received an email saying that, hey, now you have a new project, a new share you can access here, and this is your password, stuff like that. So as you can see in my files, I can still see my folder, the one I created with this document, and this is the same that is here in the share. So I can modify it or whatever from both places. And here I can see who this is shared with, and I can change it. I can add a new user, I can delete it, I can take away Tom or whoever. So it's as simple as this. Then we can also recover it in an old version. For example, if we select this, you can see very well history. Yeah. So we have just one version here. If we change it, then we could see that there's several versions, and we could choose which one to recover and things like that. But I don't think it's critical. So that's it. This is what we have at this moment. And as you can see, it's simple, it's efficient, it's effective. So, are you interested in this product? Do you think it's useful? So, if you're interested, please fill out the survey. You can become a beta tester. There's the data to become a beta tester there with your email address, your name, the company, so that we can create the account for you, can give you the account information. And of course, we still have 1.5 days to talk, bring us your ideas. We are very interested in knowing which path we have to continue this project, which is the way we have to, or the features we have to focus in, so that we make this a success. And you are privileged because you have now the chance to influence the direction of this project. So, do you have any questions?
Yes.
Yes? Good.
Can you edit it already online?
Sorry?
Can you edit it already online, the files? Or
no.
You have to
You download them, you edit them on site, and then you upload them.
Okay. It's going to be a feature?
That's a feature that we can add, yeah. Please add it in the survey.
Okay.
Have you planned any access from mobile phone or something?
Yes. We have planned that after the desktop synchronization. So we think, at this moment, we think that the desktop synchronization is more critical, so that you don't have to upload and then load the files, so you just change them from your desktop. And after that, you can access from the mobile phone. Where actually we are about to start working already on the interface of the mobile phone, because the usability of the mobile phone is much different, and you need to work from there from time behind. But yeah, so the mobile phone feature, I cannot give you any precise dates, but we expect it to be somewhere in the first half of next year.
Yes. I have 2 questions. One is more technical, and it's regarding the bandwidth overhead of running, I don't know, different locations against a centralized server in the cloud.
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the network overhead of this data, even if it's just small synchronizations like a password change or anything between different locations and the cloud server. If like authentication itself is going to be slower and something like I'm going to edit the file and it's going to ask my local server for permissions, and then it's going to ask the cloud if there are any changes. It's going to come back and tell me if I can print or if I can access this file. So is this going to slow down the user experience?
Good question. Let me answer this question, and then you ask it the second. So no, the impact is really, really small. If you are working with the cloud, you only work with the cloud. The server is not affected until you make effective a change. And the change, only the changes that you have updated are synchronized with the server. And when I say a change, I mean if you upload a new version of the file, and it's this big, and you have changed only this is the only thing that will be downloaded to the server. So we have implemented our own protocol for synchronization, and our tests say that it is around the same efficiency as Dropbox protocol. So actually, it doesn't affect much. And then, well, the main bandwidth consumption is on the file synchronization. The user synchronization is really small.
Thank you. My second question is regarding the business model of how is this going to be available, if it's going to be a different plan or if it's going to be available for professional subscribers or free. I don't think so, but I don't know.
That's a question I cannot answer right now because we are figuring out. We have focused first on having the functionality available. Of course, we have given a lot of thought about it, but we still didn't get to a decision. And I am actually waiting for your feedback to know whether this should be gone in one direction, or another direction, or whatever. Of course, the main benefits will be if you have a commercial edition, not with a community edition, that's for sure. Because, well, there's a big cost of having such a solution in the cloud. But definitely it makes sense to provide already something for those who have already paid for the server. But we didn't have any decision yet. Thank you.
A question here. If I understood, all file manipulation would go through the web browser, right? Or could it also be done via the OS file browser as well?
The OS file browser. Oh, yes. Yeah, that's what we are implementing. So that you are working with your laptop, you update your file, and the file is uploaded automatically to the cloud, and from there to the server.
All right.
Yeah. So the idea, where we want to get is that's a place. It's not implemented yet. At this moment, you have to do it on the browser, but that's the idea.
The integration will also involve the home computer hard drive as well.
Yep. Yep.
Right. Will those files be stored somewhere on the cloud or only on the customer's Zentyal servers?
In both.
Both
Yes. Yeah. The customer can choose whether he wants to have files on their server and on the cloud, or only on the cloud. So they can disable the Samba 4 on the Zentyal server, and they can focus the server on other issues like a proxy, firewall, security, and etc.
The other way around?
Yeah, well, that's the situation at this moment.
Okay.
Yeah, so in that case, you don't need the cloud. So you don't work with the cloud, you just work with the server.
Okay. What about provisions for, preventing replication conflicts? For example, two people checking on the same file, checking in the same thing, and then having to decide which version to take.
Yeah, that's a conflict that you have in any other service, and there's no way that to solve that easily. What we have found, what the decision we have taken is that we cannot prevent that. So the first one who saves the changes is the one that is uploaded the first, and then the other one will be on top of that. But there's one thing that we didn't get time to finish is the log view of who has changed what and when. So every time you access your share, you will see what was the latest changes and by whom. So you can see if anybody has changed anything after you or before you, and then you can go to the history and recover that one, and you can manually find, get back the changes, your changes, the other one's changes, and then find. Yeah, but you have to do it manually. Yeah, but you can recover them, and you get notified.
Yeah, probably the most important thing is actually notifying the user, right?
Yes.
If he's attempting to upload the file again, if a new version has been checked in before his.
Yeah.
So that would be at least that would be important, right?
Yes, it is important. It's challenging to do it in an easy way, an automated way, without filling the user's inbox with spam, with all of those notifications when this is not the case. It's difficult to find when is the case when somebody has uploaded something, removing the changes that they have made because he didn't realize about it. Yeah. But we try to make it easy for people to learn about who has changed it and to recover if that was the case. Yeah. Yep.
Just note for this locking problem that can't you implement something locking, like when I use a local server, Samba, and when I open a file, it's logged on the server, so the workstation will refuse to open or will open on read-only only. So maybe you can implement some locking mechanism. That's something that is missing from the Dropbox.
You mean to set permissions for some users so that they have only read access?
When I open a file, when I use a local file server, Samba, when I open a file on a workstation, it's logged on the server, and all other workstations connecting to the same Samba server online knows that this file is logged, and the operating system refuses to open in a write mode. So maybe you can implement a locking mechanism with the synchronization. Of course, it will have some delay and for offline users it won't work, but simplifies some cases. So when everyone works online.
Especially the case that Rodrigo mentioned, right? So that nobody can change the same version you are working in. And so if somebody opens the file, nobody else can modify it while you are modifying it. That's the point, right? There's a technical challenge there because we are integrating the desktop operative system, the application, the server, and the cloud. And well, in the server and the cloud, we know which operating system it is because it's Zentyal here, Zentyal server and Zentyal cloud. But on the desktop side, that's much more difficult. But I think that can be an idea to study and to really have a deep look at it. If we can actually, with that, solve the issue.
Okay, one more question. My original question would be that, do you plan to implement some collaborative editing to this, something like Google Documents provides? And there is one...
that was the same question as Willem asked. That's one option we have in the roadmap, not in the short-term or medium-term roadmap, but if you fill that idea in the survey, of course, if many people agree, then we will put it ahead in the roadmap. That's a point on the survey.
Big advantage of Google Documents, the collaborative editing function. So
agree. We just have to make choices about where to focus first, which features having first. So if desktop synchronization is more priority than online editing, or if email contact sharing and calendars on cloud synchronized is more priority than file editing online.
Maybe you should have a look at Etherpad if you don't know this. This is an open source software for something like this. Etherpad.
I didn't get it.
It's a software.
Okay.
Etherpad.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have a look.
Yeah, can I comment on that?
Yeah.
Because what was the real challenge, what he says, when you're working with offline files, how the hell are you going to check if somebody opens the file? Because they're offline files, so it's only going to work if you're online editing, then you can do record locking. But otherwise, I think it's useless because what are you going to do? You're going to lock it centrally. So if somebody loses his laptop and nobody can edit it anymore. I think, but with online editing, then there will be a point in it because then you're real-time editing, and otherwise you get new versions anyway. Yeah,
we only have one system to control, that's the cloud.
Right.
That's going to be much easier.
I think that's too challenging to try to do it on offline files anyway.
Yeah.
So concentrate on the email.
That opens the door for collaboration.
Also comment, Open Cloud does a similar thing with versioning. They allow to change the files, and if there's a change in the meantime, they compare it and they lock it, and some administrative type person needs to look into it and say, okay, this is the real file that we want to use. It's kind of semi-locking. It's not exactly what you want, but it's also can be easily implemented by using the versioning system.
Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer version 9? Yeah, 9 for sure. I was wondering if 8 we're going to support it. From 9 on, yeah.
That leaves out all the XP clients.
Yes, but XP is an operating system from 12 years ago.
Yeah. But it's still there, it's still out there.
I agree, but it's a big effort for us to.
I understand.
And if we invest effort,
I would leave out Internet Explorer. I wouldn't support it at all.
They can use Firefox.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Safari?
Safari. Well, I guess Safari will have to be on the list too. Good. Lots of questions. More questions, please.
Just for deadlines, for the planned release in December, you will receive the desktop integration as of synchronization?
Yes. Okay. Hopefully, we can have it. Well, we have a good base because the code we have made for the server synchronization with the cloud is supposed to be multi-platform, right? So it should be easy to integrate with any Windows, Linux, or Mac. It should be easy, but we know it works on Ubuntu, on the desktop, but we still have to see if it works on Windows or on Mac, or whether we have to do some changes. But yeah, by December, we plan to have it ready. No, I like it, I like it.
So you want more?
Have you considered integrating with other service providers, like using Google Apps to integrate the editing and auditing functions of documents? Mm-hmm. Because I've seen like document management applications developed with Drupal that you actually do the editing on Google Apps, but the clients never have to sign on Google, or I mean everything is managed by Drupal. So I thought I was wondering if you had considered these options in.
Yes, we have considered these kind of options, and actually, well, we think that Google Apps is actually they're very especially focused on individuals, on domestic users, maybe small teams or small companies. That's the main focus they have. We are trying to focus mostly on the SMBs, on the professional environments. So the approach is slightly different, but there's a big change in our approach, is that we want to put a lot of stress on the partner role, the role of the local IT provider who can bring this solution to the customers. So the thing we are considering the most interesting is to have an API, easy API, for that the local IT provider, he can integrate all the other enterprise applications with this solution. I mentioned earlier the ERP, CRM, and, well, you name any of these. So, because this is that's a kind of development line, it's very hard for us to start taking. So we're not going to integrate an ERP. It needs so much knowledge, it needs so much customization, it needs so much contact with the customer that it's not going to be our role. But we want to make it easy for the IT provider to say, hey, I'm going to provide you everything, but it's going to be easy for me to integrate it. So that's the main idea, the main line of development. I don't know yet when we will have the resources to do it easily, but it can be already done. So if a partner wants to integrate this already with a customer, we can help him in doing the magic.
Our main business is ERP systems, and my question is, would you also be able to install or create an interface that can control the MySQL or database system and also the database sessions?
Yes, of course we can do that. But yeah, we try to separate the cloud, who this is for. So this cloud, this is for the CEO. This has to be so easy, so intuitive that we cannot mention the word database. But on Zentyal Remote, which you have probably seen downstairs, that's the interface for the IT provider, for the IT guy. So there we can add all the necessary information. So you mean, for example, if you go to a customer and you install an ERP with a database and you want to control that database from remote, that's feasible. Yeah.
Also using Zentyal systems or tools to install the database, to control it, add files, stuff like that. I mean, it's like a PHP tool, something like that.
You can install it already on Zentyal server, because well, Zentyal server is an Ubuntu server.
We are doing that already, but I wish we would have it in a control in an
Yeah.
environment where we also do some other control. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good point. This is a question that has been coming and going from version to version, whether we should do the leap and provide an interface to manage MySQL database or another database in Zentyal server. We still don't have a strong case to support that thing, but it's been on our minds. So maybe for 3.2, that's one effort we can do. In the next version, we can already support an interface to manage MySQL. Yeah, that can be a good addition.
How will the customers, the users' copyrights be dealt with when files are uploaded to the cloud?
How big, you mean the target of this solution, or?
No, for example, a user creates something
Mm-hmm.
and uses the cloud to store it. Would that specific file be considered still an asset that's unique to that customer, or would the user need to relinquish his rights over that file?
No, the file belongs to the user. I mean, we're not going to do anything with the data of the customers.
Yeah, you know, just to make a comparison to Google Docs, where the files no longer belong to
Yep.
the user anymore, right?
Yep. Yep.
So this is the thing, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a good way of differentiating the solution.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As I said before, Google is targeting end users, individuals. So their business model is based on advertisement. So they need to get all the possible data from the users to nurture their advertising business model. Our business model is not that. Our business model is go for the customers, for the companies. It's a professional solution. So we are not going to do anything with that data. Our business is not based on how much we know of this individual. So this data is for the customer, is the customer only. We're going to do our best to preserve it and to protect it.
What would be the provisions for actually assuring those files will not be tampered with?
Well, any provision that any cloud provider can have, like security protection of the system, encrypting all the data, and then legal assurance that the data is not going to be hacked or is not going to be shared with anybody else, is not going to be accessed unless the customer asks for it. All this kind of assurance. It's a thing that we have to work. We will work on that line before the commercial launch, because we know this is an important issue for the customers. Yes, it is, and we are aware of that. And we're actually going to work on that.
Yeah, will all the trails, or access all the trails be provided for those files? For example, a given user has some files, some folders over in the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, for some reason, the client company wants to audit who has actually accessed those files. Would that be possible somehow? Will those trails be captured?
Yes. This feature I already mentioned before, but there's going to be a log that every user will see who has downloaded, who has modified any file, who has accessed these files. He will see it on real time. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that. We face similar issues in Germany. So that the before mentioned from Stein mentioned BSI, which is the Ministry for Security in Information System, actually brought out a warning like half a year ago not to use Amazon, Google, and Dropbox, because the servers are, for example, in the United States, though the United States privacy laws and apply Patriot Act and all that stuff. So this is one of the reasons why we choose a system, Dropbox, not Dropbox, sorry, Open Cloud, which we install on our servers that we control, and the most important issue, the servers are stationed in Germany. And this is also, sorry to repeat that, we had that discussion before, but I found it very interesting that we are not the only country with these issues, and I really highly recommend, if you want to get along with that stuff in German-speaking countries like Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and maybe also some other countries, look into the fact to get servers that are in the country, so the country's laws apply for these things. Makes it much easier. And
I'm very glad you raised this issue, because one of the ideas we have, and we would like to pitch, well, to get feedback from there, is that the role of a local partner here can be that the partner can host the data, because we have implemented the cloud so that the logic is separated from the data. We can store the files in a different cloud than the logic is. So we think that one of the possible values that the partner can add here is that he has his own cloud, he hosts his customers' files, so they are in the same country as the customer, they're managed by a local partner with who he trusts, and then we manage the update of the application so that it's easy for that to manage. But we don't have to deal with the issue of privacy of the data and that kind of stuff. But it will require some work, but I would like to know how much interest there is here so that we can prioritize or not.
Maybe Tom can spend some money on issues like that, so I can apply for €1 million to set up a business like that. Ask him, please.
Yes. But I need data to support that, so I need your surveys. Okay.